Hello, I am going to be talking about an advert for Virgin Atlantic, which rather gave me pause for thought. And it features some somewhat unusual dressing for the sort of staff you expect to find on a transatlantic airplane flight. But the amount of notes I assembled to deal with this, it went into so many different issues that I've decided to make maybe 2 videos about it, maybe 3, it depends where I go. But before I do that, I want to make my position clear on the subject of transgender and transvestitism and all that sort of thing. So I am going to use this video as a statement of intent, so that people who might be criticising the next videos, I can refer them to this. And so here goes. This is how I feel about men dressing up or taking on the persona of women. And it goes like this. To my mind, there are 3 types, and one of them is simple, what we used to call transvestites. That is, heterosexual men who simply like to dress up as women every so often. I think I've mentioned this before, but one evening when I was in London, I was waiting at a bus stop. It was quite late, actually. It wasn't evening, it was night time. It was quite late, and a group of men had come out of a local gay club which held a transvestite night every so often, every few weeks. And they were obviously men. They were made up as women. They were wearing wigs, and they were dressed in Supremes style, sparkly dresses and feather boas, and had the makeup and everything. And you could see that they were playing dress up. But what really impressed me in that whole group was that they were all standing around. There must have been about 8 or 9 of them. They were standing around in a circle, and they were laughing and chatting with each other, and they were smiling, and as men frequently don't do, showing their teeth in a smile. Men's smiles tend to be tighter and more reserved. And men don't stand that close to each other either, unless they're jammed together in a train. So you could see what was going on there. These men were having a girly night out. You poor people, you just want that human warmth and closeness that you see women can achieve. And you don't feel you could do it when you're dressed as men, and you have to escape into exaggerated female garb to feel free to express yourselves in that way. And I felt really sorry for them. I also rather, admired the way they'd costumed themselves up. But I didn't see anything wrong with what they were doing, anything intrusive, anything at all nasty. As a matter of fact, I felt in many ways flattered as a woman that men could see something in female relationships that was not available to them, and they were desperately reaching for it in this way. As one of my sons once said to me, when I had a lot of friends round one evening to the house, and he helped the women who'd arrived, taking their coats, hanging them up, that sort of thing, opening the door. And then when they left, he helped them, get their stuff together to go. And when they'd gone, and it was about 11 by that time, 11 at night, he said, "Well, that would never happen with men." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, we'd have started chatting for half an hour, and then we'd have simply started talking about breasts and drinking beer." All right, so that's the first sort, transvestites, or trannies as they used to be called. Then there's the other sort of a transgender person, a man who really does want to be a woman. Wants to be a woman so much that he will undergo all sorts of intrusive and painful medical procedures, and generally and hormone treatments and all the rest of it, and change his life and frequently lose all his friends and have to move in different social circles, a real conversion. Now, most of the ones I've met anyway know they are not biologically female, but they wish to live as females, and they do. You wouldn't, generally speaking, you wouldn't really know unless you got really close to them that they had been men in the first place. And those are true transgender people. And yeah, respect. Okay, and then there's the third type. The third type is a bunch of people with psychological disturbances who frequently don't want to change their bodies. They dress as women, generally in the most exaggerated and crude way. They don't look like women, they look like men in wigs, and they're just making fun of women. In my opinion, most of them just hate women. And maybe they hate women for the reasons I mentioned in the first transvestite story. That is, they see something in women that they can never have, but they try to pretend they can. And in these, I include people like sports women who are actually men and biologically men and physically men. But they pretend that they identify as females and then that they can beat women in various sports, sometimes in close contact sports like mixed martial arts, and just beat them up. So those are the three, and of that last three, I have no respect at all. Anyway, that's my opinion about the three types of men who want to adopt the persona or dress like women. Right, so that's the first video. And none of these videos is going to be monetized, because YouTube, I'm really worried that YouTube will allow me to stay on the platform at all with the way I'm talking. And so, yeah, please bear that in mind. I don't do this for the money, largely. If I did, I'd be in serious trouble. All right, so let's see. I'm Granniopteryx. I am on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. If you want to know when I've uploaded a video, I'll let you know as @Granniopteryx on Twitter, Gab and Parler. Please help my channel by liking, sharing and subscribing. If you're on YouTube, check your subscription. They're not too scrupulous about keeping subscriptions up. And contribute financially if you can. As I said, YouTube don't. Right. So yeah, that's it. Until the next video. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.